Remember last winter? Cars skidding around our roads like ducks in a frozen pond. Men weeping and women screaming. But it doesn't have to be like that when the big freeze hits again. Yes, you can buy winter tyres, or you can do something a lot more fun and buy a Volvo XC70. The XC70 is Volvo's answers to those who like the cavernous, iconic V70 estate, but actually want it bigger, stronger and sending power to all four wheels. It's jacked up too and features underbody protection so you can legitimately drive it into a field. It looks and feels so powerful that you can probably drive it straight through a brick wall too. There are other cars out there that will do a similar job. The Subaru Outback, Skoda Superb, Audi All-Road models and forthcoming Volkswagen Passat All-Track. They're all big 4x4 estate cars in a niche that's growing as people downsize from big SUVs and seek the security of four-wheel drive. These cars may not knock your socks off with their visual elan. The XC70 is probably the most ugly car in Volvo's range, but step inside any modern Volvo and you're greeted with an interior that's subtle, refined and straightforward, even rather beautiful. What really impresses about these modern Volvos is that you get the best of both worlds in the interiors. So you get these lovely flowing dashboards, these soft touch plastics all the way throughout and stuff like this brushed aluminium centre stack. But while you get all of that nice stuff that means it's great to be in and lovely to spend time in on the motorway, you get loads of really high-tech driving aids. There's your traction control and there's stability control as well as standard. But what we also get on this car is really clever stuff like city safety, which will warn you if it thinks you're going to hit a pedestrian. There's also driver alert, which will warn you if it thinks you're becoming too drowsy. And the way it does that is to monitor your driving style. If you're starting to veer around on the road, the car will tell you that it's probably time to take a break. Something that's becoming more common on cars these days is lane departure warning, and that's similar in that it will warn you if you're veering across white lines on the road. Now that's arguably quite useful, but I find it quite irritating, so it's useful that you can actually turn it off in the XC70. Now you can pretty much turn most of these on and off, which I think is a really good idea. That includes my personal favourite, which is the blind spot information system. What this will do is warn you if there's a car approaching in that spot where you can't see it through any of your rear view mirrors, and it's a really simple light which just says there's a car behind you and it's a bad time to pull out. One last thing that I really like on the XC70 is the adaptive cruise control. Now this works pretty much in the same way that any cruise control system does. You put 70 miles an hour and obviously no faster than our UK motorways in, and you will cruise steadily at 70 miles an hour. Unless the car in front is doing less, in which case the Volvo will lock onto it and maintain the same distance, irrelevant of what speed you're doing. Power comes from a 6-cylinder 3-litre turbo diesel that's a little bit slow to get going at low revs, kind of like an old bear getting up in the morning. Get the revs up however and there's an eager, snarling engine waiting to be unleashed. It will do 62 mph in 7.6 seconds. That's really impressive. Not only that, it'll sound really good doing it too. Power is 211 brake horsepower. Now that might not sound like a lot, but you do get 440 newton meters of torque, which is where it really counts in big estate cars like this, and that means it's great for towing. This one can manage well over 2 tons of horsebox, powerboat or hideous caravan, depending on exactly what you're intending to tow. While the XC70's performance may be startling, its driving dynamics are rather more traditional. It's wonderfully comfortable on the motorway, but it's less composed on B roads or around town, especially where it feels rather cumbersome and heavy. It really starts showing its almost 2 tons of weight. Get it out on the motorway and the D5 turbo diesel engine and auto box really come into their own. If you want more comfort, refinement and power in the same vehicle, then you'll probably need to upgrade to a train. Of course, you may think that all of this weight and performance comes at something of a penalty, but fuel consumption is 41.5 mpg combined, meaning you can go well over 600 miles on a tank of diesel. CO2 is respectable at 179 grams per kilometre. That means you'll pay £315 in road tax for the first year, and £210 per annum thereafter. Company car tax is 28%, which is just over £2,000 or £4,000 per annum in this D5 SE Lux Geartronic all-wheel drive. It's fairly obvious just from looking at it from the outside that the XC70 is quite a big car. Get inside and you'll be reinforced in that belief. Now, I just want to show you that it's pretty spacious in here, but there's also loads of little practical touches. There's the usual wallets in the back of seats, but what I like is things like this, which will allow you to create little meal areas. There's also these headphone jacks, which means the kids can listen to whatever music that they've got in a car, whereas the parents can have a conversation up front. If you want to follow me to the boot, there's 575 litres of storage space in here as standard, and it dwarfs a little suitcase like that. But that also extends to 1600 litres with the seats folded down, as I'm going to show you in a minute. But there's other nice touches in here. There's all sorts of little cubby holes around the boot which aren't visible, and there's a parcel shelf you can pull across as well. What you also have, if you have a large dog, is this guard so that Rover can sit in the back quite happily. Touch of the button there, and that all folds down, as do the seats in the back. Like most cars, these will split fold 60-40, so you've got various permutations of how you have your seats and storage space. What you've got here is an incredibly large flat storage space, which means the XC70 is essentially a van as well as a passenger car. On the road, this high-spec all-wheel drive auto transmission XC70 costs a hefty £37,665, but that jumps to nearly £45,000 with toys like safety kit, ventilated leather, heated seats and safety pack. That's a lot of cash, but it is a lot of car in every respect. If the XC70 is a capable, practical and modern alternative to a big SUV.